somehow he comes back and we're like, oh my God. He goes off. He leads us to victory after a big fuck you and one play. He runs over like, ugh, and Tommy the cop tries to high five him like he's gonna fucking injure him. This is crazy. No. Then after another big play, Hardenstein like makes a huge play. I knew him a little bit, not well, but like runs over, just like DM'd with him a couple times. I'm a huge fan, and he's like, he sees me, he runs over to high five me after a play, and I'm like, childhood me, I'm like, high five to Stefano and his goon friend get in front of me and try to grab him. And he's like, oh, and he just like points, and I was like, all right. And
that's great.
But then after I'm with the Stefano outside the guard, and we're going nuts.
Yeah.
And Hardenstein DMs me, I tried to high five you, but some dumbass was in front of you. And I just show it to Chris. I go, you're the dumbass. You cost me a playoff high five.
It's breaking bread.
We would like to thank the good people at HelloFresh for sponsoring today's program. HelloFresh's new Build-A-Plate meals are designed to let every member of your house create their perfect plate. No more making multiple dinners to satisfy everyone. What a dream come true. And for a limited time, kids eat free. Go to HelloFresh.com/PapaKids to unlock this exclusive offer. How cool is that? One free kids meal per box for 2 months while subscription is active. That's free kids meals just by going to HelloFresh.com/PapaKids. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. I like to start the podcast off with a toast.
All right.
And so I bought you I thought you a little blue Gatorade.
My dad just got a colonoscopy, so we were like picking out Gatorade flavors. He's like, they're all disgusting. I thought he'd like grape because he drinks wine. And he was like, that was horrible. Worse than a colonoscopy.
Cheers. Thanks for being here. And congratulations on your special.
Thanks, man. Back to the drawing board.
Yeah, I know.
Fine.
It is fine, but it's interesting. I was just talking to, Tommy Tiernan?
I know who he is.
The Irish comedian. Great guy. Like, I've been watching him for years. Like a real, an artist, know? Like,
I saw him in Ireland and he was like murdering.
Yeah. He's just a different kind of cat. And he was saying an interesting thing, because I'm in the same spot of like, right back to what's this next act going to be. And he said, at this stage in his career, he thinks he's now in a phase of not watching other comedians. Get away from comedy.
Yeah.
In order to create the next thing. Get away from comedy, go off into the woods, and just do your own.
Not another woods comedian.
Not literally the woods, but like off in your own, where you just do your own little odd thing.
How long do you think I would last in the woods? I have no fucking life skills. No, I hear what he's saying. I get it. I see like Ari Shaffir is a friend of mine. He'll go to another country. I just picture him like building huts with like little African kids. Not he's probably doing drugs. But he just gets away and he's off the grid and he like leaves a phone sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I need to take time off, but I also I ran new stuff like in a long set here last night in the Fat Black, and and I'm like, all right, I got some stuff. Those are great because you know how the process of I got 41, and then you're like, I got 23,
right?
And then I got 32, and then you're like, I got 18. You just keep cutting shit.
I know.
And then I do feel like I got some stuff to noodle with though.
That's good. Like a little bass.
It's hard to do it in the 15-minute sets. I know. I'd see Colin or Louis do that, and I was like, that's not how I can't operate like that. I need an hour to just throw shit at the wall and just, be like, some of these are going to suck.
Right.
But some are going to be surprisingly decent. And they're like, all right, they're with me. It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're not thinking about it in terms of a theme or anything. You're just trying to
There's a bit of a
get
theme.
Material.
There's a bit of a theme being online, but I never think of comedy and I always thought it was cool that someone like Colin Quinn will be like, here's the history of the world. Like that is awesome, but it's just not how I write.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that wasn't how he wrote, and he trained himself to write that way. So
I wonder if he starts off with the theme, or you just get a bunch of funny stuff and then it starts to work itself into something. Because I can never at the end it kind of is saying
but you have
something.
Themes in your stuff, I feel like. One of your specials on Netflix was kind of positive. It was you're doing great. You kept saying, you're doing great.
Yeah.
It's almost like if a TED Talk had a shitload of punchlines.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What it felt like was like, wow, I feel like you're a comic I watch. I feel good after. Like you're uniquely positive for a stand-up.
Yeah, it is true.
I've been told I'm kind of positive.
Yeah, I would say so.
Maybe not as much in my act because it's like you just go with whatever floats in your head. But I think in life I'm like somewhat positive.
Yeah. It's funny because when I first met you, your exterior doesn't say like bright and sunny.
I can't help my eyebrows.
But your perspective, but those eyebrows are those eyebrows.
I didn't want Disney villain eyebrows. Just look like
Yeah. No, but it's I mean, your thing is just, it's great. It's called, by the way, You've Changed, and it's on Prime right now, so people can go watch it.
I'm happy with how it turned out. It was like, definitely, I probably could have taped it a little sooner, and I'm glad I waited, and I just loaded up on clubs, and I was like, let me just tighten this. And you really end up hating it, and you're so grateful for that shooting date to come. But it was... I'm glad with it. I'm way happy with this one. You can only really compare yourself to yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm way happier with this one than my last one.
Yeah. Oh, really?
I just like the material better. I just think it's like, it felt more fleshed out. Like I waited a little longer to tape it.
That's good. How long? 2 years?
Not 2 years exactly, about like 18 months or something.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
It is amazing how it's changed. Like that there were guys that just had an act for their whole career.
I know.
It's such a different beast.
I want to say I'm jealous, but I'm not. Because the struggle is, I bet those guys were bigger dicks. Because you're killing all the time. That does something to your ego. Whereas we do kind of have to suffer a little bit when we're building. And there's something that like keeps you humble when you're just like up there like, you know, you're like, is this something? Like that energy is there's much more humility there than like, it's another fucking hot set.
Right, exactly. I'm great again.
Great again.
And there was guys where a lot of them were on drugs. And it's probably because they didn't have to work, you know?
Yeah.
You're just kind of like there with a lot of free time on your hands.
We're all so much healthier than that. And we still like, we'll still have a drink and stuff, but like there's comics back then who I'm like, they must have just like, they got paid in coke probably. and meanwhile we're like, we're like waking up, we're trying to write jokes. It really changed. Like I think a bunch of guys, I mean, Louis was like the first to just be like, Carlin before him.
Well, Carlin, yeah.
But then Louis of this generation.
Yeah.
And then like guys like you were turning them around super quick. You know, Norden, Colin.
Yeah.
Hell, like Attell actually will wait a little longer.
Yeah.
He'll write it as quick as anyone.
Gaffigan's like one a year.
Gaffigan, you're right.
Gaffigan's going quicker than everybody, I think, right now.
He's quick.
He's one a year.
He is quick.
I know. It's
I feel like he's not talked about enough for how quick and good he is.
Yeah, I know. It's like the New York Times finally wrote about him, and the headline was something like it's time to acknowledge. You know, it was like, dude, this guy's been great for 30 years.
It's you.
Right.
They're like, it's time someone said something. I'm like, it could have been you.
Yeah, where were you 15 years ago?
Yeah.
He was always great.
Yeah, he's funny.
Thank you for bringing Winnie, by the way.
Yeah, Winnie's pretty cool.
So delightful.
Yeah, she's
how old is this pug?
She's 17. She's an old bird.
17.
Yeah, she's a rude little bitch. I love her.
And this is your girlfriend's dog?
Yeah. I can't have a dog myself.
Right.
I mean, you have a family, so kind of you can leave and someone can do.
Someone will be there.
I can't. Although I've brought her on the road before.
You have?
Yeah, you look like a real douchebag with that travel case. I'm so not LA, and I look very LA when she's in the little pouch.
It's pink, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, I didn't pick it out.
That'd be cool though. I thought about bringing Frank on. Frank is my pug, and I've thought about bringing him on the road, but it seems like he's still feisty. He's only like 5.
She's so old, dude. She doesn't do shit. I mean, the big thing with her is like she's not feisty, but sometimes she'll like stand for too long, and I'm like anxious, and then she finally like laid down. Like, there we go.
What do you mean if it stands?
She's just like looking around. She's like too curious. She's not a friendly animal though, which is funny. I mean, she snaps. She's a street dog. They found her on the street, so I have to like guard her. I don't put her on a leash because she's not like she's gonna get away.
You don't put her on a leash?
Never.
What about when you go outside to walk?
I just guard her. I just make sure no one gets close. I've had a few altercations with people, but like,
what do you mean?
Well, you know, they'll like let their dog. It'll be a big dog, and when he talks shit, she's a tough little bitch. So a big dog walk by and she'll start barking at them, and a lot of times they back down, which is hilarious because she's 10 pounds.
Yeah.
But the other, occasionally they'll bite back, and I'm like, no, you gotta I gotta get in the middle. I do not want. Although that is how she probably should go out. Like old age shouldn't take her. She should be going out like fucking Russell Crowe and Gladiator.
Did Michelle say that she had more energy when she was young? Is this an old thing or is it just a Winnie thing?
No, I think she's just. Yeah, she had more energy when she was young. She's old.
Right.
I mean, but I don't think she was ever like a giddy.
Right.
Most pugs are really friendly. She's got a little chihuahua in her. Chihuahuas are fucking twats.
Yeah, they really are.
They're not nice animals.
I ran into one in the lobby this morning.
They're just.
Yeah, just mean. I was just like, where are you going?
I go to this gym, and the guy who runs the gym is like this, really big jack guy, and he just walks around with his little chihuahua, and the chihuahua's not on the leash, and it just like walks behind him, and the dog's cocky too. They're cocky, and they're not. They're like
for no reason.
This fucking big. It is that little person complex.
Totally. This
fucking big, and they talk. It's like her. They talk shit.
Yeah.
But they're so, and the biting. What is with the biting?
The pug biting?
No, the chihuahua.
Oh, the chihuahua biting.
It's like nonstop.
My dogs bites me like he wants to play. Like there's like he gets like if I'm gone for a while, he'll come be like, ah, and like really like do like the fake bites on me.
Yeah.
And I caught him the other day. I was like, this is why I love this dog. Its teeth are messed up. Its jaw's messed up. Its eyes are messed up. His feet are messed up. Like there's nothing perfect about a pug.
Yeah. It's like for some reason though, everything being wrong makes them cute. Like they have nothing going for them. Like they have like the weird face and the nose is pushed in and the eyes are crooked. You're right. They got like 4 teeth. And when she bites you, it's hilarious.
I know, and they all go in different directions.
Yeah, you know what it's kind of like the way Steve Buscemi is so weird looking that he's like almost handsome.
Right.
That's like how pugs are. They're so weird that they're adorable.
Yeah. But when you go on the road, does it mess with your rhythm? Like you got to go make sure she walks, or?
I mean, she's not going on like hikes.
Right.
She just put her down, pees, done. She doesn't
back
do much.
in,
Yeah.
she's done. Yeah.
A little. I have ADD, so occasionally, like, if she's getting annoyed by something, I can't eat. Can you eat in front of your dog?
When they're watching me?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's annoying. It's a test of wills.
Yeah.
And I always give in.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I always give her some chocolate.
They always want food.
Yeah, I was kidding. I don't give her chocolate. But I always give her a little Toblerone. No, but she's she's fucking cool, man.
Yeah. And you like being in a hotel with Winnie? When you go to the show, do you bring her to the show?
It's rare, but like,
yeah.
I'll probably have her with me in Miami this weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it'll be funny. I mean, she's so not a Miami dog. It's like these look like fucking garbage dogs. They look like they just crawled out of a dumpster and like looked around. They don't look like he's like sheep. I think that's also. God, I hate Miami. It's just. I mean, like I don't hate it, but it's like I don't.
Where are you playing in Miami?
I'm doing the Improv. I'm doing a few nights here just to try to build back up.
I've never been at that one.
Yeah, I mean, if you like audiences showing up 30 minutes late and on cocaine, you'll love it. It's fine.
It's never been a great comedy town.
Because they're like not real people. You go to Orlando, they have like real jobs, so they can like relate to stuff. But then you go to Miami, they're all like butt influencers, and like, they have like no. They have no like, they're ripped. They have no.
Yeah.
They have no reality that you can relate to.
They're in their own movie. They have their own thing going on. They're the center of it all.
And if you're too tan, you're not gonna get the joke.
No, if you're too tan or too rich.
Yeah. That's why Naples is my least favorite.
Right.
Naples is the least. It's a bad combo of vapid and rich.
Because they're like, why do I want to listen to your horrible life? You're up there telling your stories about what you're dealing with. They're like, I don't care.
Funny.
I don't care.
But then you're also like, but then why did you come?
Right.
That's the weird part. They still come and they're just like mad. And you're like, all right, sorry. Yeah. Florida's like the ultimate toss up. You're like, do we get the coolest crowd ever or the worst human? Like, you just don't like Tampa crowds for some reason are just like always awesome.
Yeah. Tampa's good. Clearwater's good.
There's like a level of trashy in Tampa that's like kind of like fun. Where they're like, we're like a good they're like, we're fun. We're good time.
Yeah.
I always pictured like if I
to
didn't do
Miami.
comedy, I'd be like a boat detective in like Tampa. Just like rocking a Hawaiian shirt, like trying to like solve like some MILF's murder mystery case. She's like, my
Yeah.
husband's missing. You try to bang her. It's like, that'd be my life.
You're mixing drinks in the car.
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing a beer in a car. I'd be doing like a fucking old fashioned, just shaking.
Yeah. Going in, you got
Dump a
some
little
leads.
maraschino cherry in there.
You just solve crimes by luck.
Yeah, we need more of those back.
I know. Those were
miss
great.
those. Like, I love Columbo because he would just like something about the PI or the detective who's always like, they're like, this guy's dumb. And then at the end, that turnaround, there's one more thing that's bothering me. It's so, I love that.
Right.
Peter
I
Falk
just can't
rules.
get this out of my mind. I'm a simple man. I don't know what it is.
Every time they think they got him. Every time some rich, dumb bitch would be like, well, I guess that's it, Columbo. He's like, yeah, I guess so. And then 3 feet, he turns around. There's one more. And she's like, fuck.
It is great. And for some reason in Florida with the Hawaiian shirt really makes it perfect.
Yeah.
Just kind of drifting around. You go to your little tiki bar where everyone knows you.
Yeah, have a fucking just drinking rum straight like a trash. Any adult who's drinking rum has like fucked up his life. I feel like.
Right.
I feel like rum is for like kids. Maybe if you live in like the Caribbean or something. But if you're like an American who's like drunk on rum, you're like kind of a bag of shit. I feel like.
Yeah. Something. Yeah, 100%. You're like trying. You don't like the life that you're in, and you're trying desperately to get into another one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Can you rock a Hawaiian shirt?
Yeah, I could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as certain kinds. How about you? I could see you in a Hawaiian shirt.
It depends if I'm in a fat phase or a thinner phase. The fatter phase isn't like fat enough.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like Stavros where you can like really just enjoy the thing.
A fat guy in a Hawaiian shirt looks fun.
Looks great. Looks fun, and like pop a couple extra buttons.
Yeah.
And thin works good too, but in between, it looks like a guy who's trying to have fun.
You're right. Like it's a put on.
Yeah.
But the thin is kind of like, I'm just, I'm out for the fucking, I'm looking to solve a case. You look kind of like a fun Hawaiian shirt guy. But yeah, you're right. The middle is like,
middle's in between's not that great.
it's like a guy with hair who rocks a Kangol hat. It's like a waist. You're like, why are you rocking that shit? That's for like a Sam Jackson.
Right. Yeah. I remember when I was first starting my career, I had an agent who said, you really got to make a choice. Are you going to go fat guy, or are you going to go like a little and lose weight and get in shape? Because the in between is like, people don't know what to do with that. And it's such a dumb thing to say, but I really carried it for like 10 years.
Damn, it's a weird thing to say. I guess you could say it to a man. You really can't say that to a woman, right?
Not now. Back then you could. Back then you could.
I think, Schumer has like stories about that.
Oh yeah. I remember an owner of a comedy club said to my wife, he was watching his girlfriend on stage and was like, yeah, the most important thing is, are you fuckable or not? That's what the audience wants to know.
What a cliche.
Are you fuckable?
Jesus Christ.
The jokes are, it's important to some degree, but are you fuckable? She's like alone. My wife's like alone in this like booth with this guy. But that's the way they talk back then. There's no...
Are you fuckable?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I know, exactly. One-on-one with a female comedian.
By the way, that doesn't matter. Ralphie May was not a sex symbol.
Most comedians are
God
not.
rest his soul, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's all, are you funny or not? Who gives a shit?
No, I know.
But yeah, I've heard people talk like that.
Yeah. Are you
You've heard that because if you're the kind of chubby guy, it doesn't really work because you're like, although you kind of can be like the friend in the rom-com, but that's not even like a thing anymore. They don't even make movies anymore.
I know.
Every movie's like just like some kid from the CW who has like 40 million followers who I've never heard of. And they're like, this is all we make anymore. It's just, they could just be like made up. Like, I swear to God, dude, Glen Powell, he's in like every movie now, it just has to star Glen Powell.
Right.
Like
Who's Glen Powell?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
He's in like every fucking movie now.
Is he?
You know, he's in like.
Do you know him, Mike?
I know.
He doesn't know him either.
Yeah. Oh, I can't believe you don't. He's in like every movie.
It sounds familiar. I'm going to look him up.
I swear to God, this guy became famous like overnight. He could be like an industry plant.
Oh, yeah. I've seen this guy.
But he became famous like that.
Right.
It was like, oh, okay. He was in Top Gun, and then it was just like, all right, every movie has to star Glen. Like every article will be like Glen Powell's favorite. And I'm like, who is this fucking guy? But now he's like the hottest guy in Hollywood.
Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, was it even? Am I going to lose people? Was it even that good?
Get out. Get out.
I love how they're writing it. They're like, let's not offend anybody. Let's call the bad guy the enemy.
I know, and not even like no
can't even say
flag.
Russia or North Korea or nothing. They just have to be like, no, they're the bad guy.
Yeah.
Have you gotten the enemy? That way, we got to crush overseas too.
Yeah, that was really lame. Yeah, like were you worried about losing the Russian market?
Yeah, make it like a guy's name, like Steve. Steve is fucking bad or something.
It's the enemy.
But they couldn't do that because then it would be a name like Boris, and they'd be like, it's the fucking Russians.
There is that thing though, like you could just remake Top Gun. I mean, it had all the same beats. Star Wars did the same thing, all the same beats of how to take down the Death Star, and you're just playing it for a new generation. Like the older generation, like it's the same as it was. They're not making it for you. They're gonna press the same buttons on those people.
Because I saw the first Star Wars that came back out, and I never saw one of the new ones after that. 'Cause I was like, fuck this shit. It's the same movie.
Yeah, no, but there's a new generation of kids who they're gonna press their buttons the same way. And here's your Maverick.
You know what the problem with that one was? Is like they made Luke kind of a bitch for the first two movies.
Yeah.
In the original Star Wars, he was like, Obi-Wan gets killed and he's like, no, like he can't do shit. And in the first new movie, the girl is just kicking like the best Jedi's ass immediately. And I was like, she got to earn it a little, you know?
Yeah. I feel like with the Star Wars movies, the same way I feel about NCAA basketball. It's like, I'm not into it, but man, I really wish I was, because you always have something to watch.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're a Star Wars fan, you're pretty set.
I don't care about college sports. It's too
I know, me
short-lived,
neither.
especially now that they're like one and done.
I know. Yeah.
Like if it's March Madness, I'll watch. But
Yeah.
like, I like
it.
pro sports because these players have to like redefine who they are as they get older. Like it was cool watching a guy like Kobe like lose some of his explosiveness, and he's like, now I got to have great footwork or like mid range. Like they have to, and there's drama with trades, and
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
In college, it's just like, here's a few games. I don't. Also, I grew up in a big city, and Northeast people are always just don't really give a shit about
college. Yeah,
we just don't.
No, it's because you got the great pro sports.
I mean, there's
around
like
us.
exceptions. There's like Syracuse. There's some stuff, but like
Villanova when they're hot.
UConn.
St. John's was good when I was a kid.
But it's not like in Texas or like
no, it's the only game in town,
or like Tennessee, or where you're like,
No.
holy shit.
How happy are you to be a Knicks fan now?
I'm fucking happy, dude.
This is a really good
I love
time
them
for you.
so much. I went to so many games last year. Jalen Brunson has just like turned my life around. You know, it's sad how much this makes me, because like I've had people be like, at the end of the day, I realize it's not that important. I'm like, what are you, a fucking loser?
I know.
It's everything.
Don't you hate when you hear LeBron say that?
Oh my God.
That drives me crazy. It's just
Yeah,
basketball.
because it's it's just the thing that you like don't have a donut for. Like you don't eat. You're like a adult man who like probably doesn't eat bread. Like he does.
Right.
He eats carbs because he has to burn shit. But like you know what I mean? Like he's in like sleeping in like a cryo chamber or some shit. Like
know.
it's just basketball. Oh, just the thing that made you a billionaire.
I know. And that your kids are into now.
And you want to catch Jordan.
Yeah.
He won't.
Yeah.
But
how far away is he?
He's got 4. Jordan had 6. He's not winning.
Right.
I don't think he's winning one more, honestly.
Yeah.
But it's cool as hell watching him light it up for USA. Like, oh my God. Like, he's fucking pushing 40. And he's just beating up on Serbian dudes who unfortunately all look like me. But he's just.
They were sneaky good.
They're good. But the scary one was in the exhibition game, they almost lost to South Sudan.
Oh, yeah. Sudan. That's what I meant. That was the really good
That
one.
was where.
Yeah.
He's like, were they trying? Probably. I mean, they didn't miss Sudan. But, I mean, dude, Team USA's. We got Kevin Durant off the bench. That's the most insane thing I have ever seen.
Yeah.
He's still in. He didn't miss a shot yesterday.
I know. It was beautiful.
I love him.
So good. So I guess the Knicks are your Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm not a huge like Star Wars guy. I mean, I've watched the originals like anyone has, but like, Jalen Brunson's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I love those dudes. I love all of them.
Yeah, that's such a good
Josh
thing.
Hart, Dante, OG, Randall. Like I was so bummed Hardenstein left because that was like one of my guys. I loved him. We were at a playoff game that they won, and it was like, I'm next to my brother, Chris Stefano's on the other side of me with his buddy Tommy the cop, who's like a fucking mental case. This guy's like 300 pounds of pure muscle. He's like, every time there's a big play, he like high fives you. Like, I think like he broke my hand. This fucking monster. And then Brunson comes over after a huge play. It was such a crazy game because it was like the game Brunson went down. And we're like, did we just go to the worst game of all time? Like Brunson's out.
Yeah.
And then somehow he comes back and we're like, oh my God. He goes off. He leads us to victory after a big and like fuck you and one play. He runs over like, and Tommy the cop tries to high five him like he's gonna fucking injure him. This is crazy. No. Then after another big play, Hardenstein like makes a huge play. I knew him a little bit, not well, but like you know, runs over, just like DM'd with him a couple times. I'm a huge fan, and he's like, he sees me, he runs over to high five me after a play, and I'm like, you know, childhood me, I'm like, high five. Just Stefano and his goon friend get in front of me and try to grab him. And he's like, oh, and he just like points, and I was like, all right. And
that's great.
But then after I'm with the Stefano outside the garden, we're going nuts.
Yeah.
And Hardenstein DMs me, I tried to high five you, but some dumbass was in front of you. And I just showed it to Chris. I go, you're the dumbass. You cost me a playoff high five from Hardenstein, but he left. He went to OKC. So.
That's terrible.
Yeah, they paid him so much money. We couldn't match. That's what I also hate. Just let us match. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. Has the ownership like changed their focus? Like, why are they good now? Because it was
just a
so
good,
long.
good GM.
Yeah.
Leon Rose is just a fucking beast.
Yeah.
He was the head of CAA, and he's just like, he's
making it happen.
Every move he's made has been awesome. And like the Brunson move, which all these like pundits were like, oh, terrible overpay by the Knicks, has suddenly turned into the best contract in the NBA. Wow. And he just took a $113 million pay cut to stay, just to be like, 'cause I want us to build.
Really?
Which is no athlete has
That's insane.
No athlete who leaves $113 million, more money than we'll see in our life, on the table.
Whoa.
And to just be like, no, I just want to, because he understands how important it is to be like a New York legend, and like that this shit makes you immortal. Yeah. Like people still talk about Joe DiMaggio.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's like,
I know, Mark Messier. I mean,
exactly.
You're gods.
You win one for the Knicks, it's insane.
Oh my God. They'll go insane.
Yeah.
Jeter. Like, no, that's it. Your life is, you're just, And
he studied Jeter. He's smart. He studied how Jeter was a leader.
Oh, yeah.
And like how he, you know, how he behaved and how he composed himself, and like, oh, dude, you
have a good hookup for tickets?
You know, I try not to over ask, because I could easily over ask because, I'm obsessed.
You try and do it on your own?
What do you mean?
Like you try and get tickets on your own and not from the organization?
I've done both.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, it's a really hot game and I'm just like I'm not going to get tickets. So game 7 I bought, and it was like, you know, it was so much money to just watch them lose.
Yeah.
You're thinking about that as you're watching them. You're like, well, this is the worst thing I've seen all year.
My worst
and
investment.
I paid for it. Yeah. But that's the risk you take with sports. And it sucked, but also the whole team was injured. So what are you going to do? Like,
I know.
It kind
of like,
that never happens.
Yeah. From shopping, planning, prepping, to actually getting everyone to enjoy what you're making for family dinners can be very stressful. HelloFresh gets it. They make it easy by delivering fresh ingredients and picky eaters approved recipes right to your door each week. There's a lot of services that provide you with food, but this one has your family in mind. This is why we love HelloFresh. Back to school season means shopping, after school activities, and a lot less free time. Skip the meal planning and grocery store runs with nutritious and delicious meals from HelloFresh. They handle most of the prep too, making getting dinner on the table easier and faster than ever. Such a good thing if you have a family. And for a limited time, kids eat free. Go to HelloFresh.com/PapaKids to unlock this exclusive offer. 1 free kids meal per box for 2 months while subscription is active. That's free kids meals just by going to HelloFresh.com/PapaKids. Wonderful. Thank you, HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Try them. Get the free stuff. Your life will be so much better. This is a thing I do here on our podcast. I call it an uncomfortable moment. When our researchers...
Is this like a picture of my dick or something?
When our researchers do a little... deep dive on you.
Yeah.
So you and Mark Norman have this Bodega cat, a very successful.
Served at the Comedy Cellar.
Yeah, very good. Is it a bourbon or a whiskey?
It's a rye.
It's a rye.
It currently is sold out.
It's currently, yeah.
But it will be back, I believe, August 22nd with it. So it'll be here again. It's in the old fashions at the Comedy Cellar.
So cool.
Crazy.
I have a bottle at home.
It's good.
And I was told that in the beginning that you came up with the name for Bodega Cat because of you guys, New Yorkers, bodegas, the weird cat that hangs around in the shelves.
Yeah, I love those.
And it made sense. But apparently, my researcher wanted me to ask you, are you two really furries? Is that what Bodega Cat, is that the secret meaning of Bodega
God
Cat?
damn it. I didn't think this was going to, I didn't think this
You
was
want to
gonna get
explain
out.
this photo?
Sometimes we dress up in weird costumes and butt fuck each other.
Well,
I didn't think anyone was going to find out.
I'm glad you're very honest about it right off the bat.
Yeah, it's I didn't tell
What is
anyone.
the dressing up of animals that makes you want to fuck each other?
I think bestiality is not okay. But this is like, it's like right there. I don't know what animal is Mark a panda here?
It looks like he's a kind of like a possum, maybe.
And I'm like a blue coyote.
Blue coyote, but with cat ears.
Yeah, that's kind of fun. And I don't know why we both have bows on our hair. And I have a Knicks hat on. I'll dress as a furry, but I got to rep the Knicks.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being honest with that.
No problem.
I hope this wasn't too uncomfortable.
No, I should be open about it.
I just got a whiff of Winnie, and it smells the same as Frank. There's a
Not good?
It's almost like it's almost like a little Frito smell. You know what I mean?
They smell like Pugs smell like Fritos.
Pugs smell like Fritos.
That's so fucking true.
They really do.
Yeah, it's funny giving her a little bath and just watching her because they're so mushed up and you see how skinny they are.
Yeah.
They look all fat because of all the extra skin.
Yeah.
They all look like dogs that did too much Ozempic or something and now have like flaps.
Like Al Roker.
Yeah.
They all look like Al Roker dogs. They've lost all that weight. There's all this extra skin.
So funny.
So now you're going to go down to Florida. You're going to start your detective business.
Yeah, do some shows, build it, it is so satisfying though when you get those first few nuggets and you're like, but it sucks when you write, like right now I have like a 7-minute Holocaust chunk and I'm like, it's pretty funny, but it's also like, oh man, I wish this wasn't the first thing that's like really solid in the new chunk.
Yeah.
Because now I'm like trying to force myself to write like lighter. And they're all like fun Nazi jokes, they're pretty funny.
Yeah.
But it's hard. You have to like force yourself to write lighter, and that's just not how it works. When you're going for light, just dark shit pops into your head. So now it's like the next one was like a bit about a vacuum glide.
Yeah.
Which is do you know what that is?
No.
I only know what it is because they want to sponsor our podcast, but it's a $1,000 dick sucking device. And we were like, no, we're good.
$1,000?
I know. It's supposed to be like amazing. And we said no. And then they said, we'll send you one. And we said, sure. And and we got there and they only sent one. So we're like, oh.
Did you flip a coin?
No, it's still wrapped.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we didn't know what to do. So I was like, I started just looking up that stuff and it was like funny to me. But
there is something cool. There is something very smart, actually, about taking a device like that and just putting a big price tag on it.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, it must be good.
yeah. Well, did you come?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I was reading message boards and people. There's like a community for this because I was curious. And there's people like it's like I've had sex with a lot of machines. This is the best. Like people who have experience with this, they have hilarious. The other names were like the Trembler. They have like names, and you're like, all right. And then yeah, it's a huge thing. I guess it's a huge world.
Jeez,
but it's like
that's where it's all going. I mean, AI is going to be. I mean, sex is going to be the main driver, like it is with anything.
I mean, they're gonna look at us like jacking off with our hand, like, "What are you, Amish?" It's like we're becoming that. But it's like you think about that. Even if you masturbate too much, that's like not healthy.
Yeah.
But then if you're using this too much and it's like amazing, that's also you're gonna wean off humans.
Well, there's gonna be but once they get in your head, like if they can talk to you and mentally affect you, yeah, you're right. You're not gonna try and meet someone new.
Remember that movie Her?
Yeah.
Phoenix is like that, but with coming.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
That was such a weird to like just be in love. That's how hot Scarlett Johansson is, by the way. That like just her voice, you're like, that's pretty hot.
Well, did you hear that they had a Scarlett Johansson voice? They asked her, "Can we use your voice on Chat GPT?" I think it was, and she said no, and then they kind of did it anyway. So she has a huge lawsuit.
They just use her name in like a Marvel movie or something. They got the Black Widow.
Yeah,
it's Black Widow voice.
It's just a Black Widow voice, and but apparently it's like the most popular one. Like her voice alone is just perfect.
God, sad. Like, you know, everyone thinks this stuff's gonna make you more, but this is like talking to your friend is actually where you don't feel lonely. But then you go on your phone and it's this quick rush, but you feel so lonely. And then this shit. The next generation, dude. It's bad.
I know. It's going to be so isolating. I had a friend that got too into porn, like when we were in college, and it was just like, you know,
that's too young.
Like, like popping it into a VCR, like the most rudimentary. Like it was even before YouTube, and that became a problem. And he couldn't function in society. Like he couldn't talk to girls. He couldn't. He didn't want to be at parties. He just want to get back home and do that. And now these kids, like at 7th grade, have it in their pocket.
Yeah, if you have a vacuum glide at home, you want to go to dinner? No, that's cool. I got the vacuum glide. You're fine.
Yeah. No. What's the end game for everybody?
Well, that's the other thing too. It's like if you just. By the way, porn VHS that's so funny too because like that's really like that's before my time. I had some DVDs. I remember my dad found them. He was so fucking mad at me because we'd go to this corner bodega store and this like old Indian guy with a lazy eye. He thought it was funny that we were in like 7th grade trying to buy porn. So he would just give us free porn because he thought it was hilarious.
Right.
And then I just had all this kinds of porn. So I had like fat porn, MILF porn, like, and my dad found it like, what the fuck is this? And I'm just like. The Indian guy, I don't know. Like, you had nothing for him. I was like, he gave us free porn. Of course, I watched it, you know?
Was your dad really strict?
No, I think he was just like, what the fuck? I think he was like, this is disgusting. I don't even know why he was rummaging through my shit. That was usually like more of a mom. My mom would like outlaw all my weed. She was like, the funny thing is she outlawed so much of my weed that she had like enough in her closet. I'm like, you go down for a long time for this shit, mom.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because she would just like find weed and then just hide it. But then like you find out where she hides it and you're like, I'm going to grab it back, I think, you know? But
how old?
I was too young to have that much weed.
You were?
Yeah, our friends always had weed. So
yeah.
Back then it was bad. Now I went.
At like what age? Like 14?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
First time, the best thing is you're just some fucking dealer's house. They're like 40. Yeah. You know, I just had my bar mitzvah. I'm watching him play Tony Hawk. You know, it's like, right. Remember that video game? That was like the ultimate like drug dealer video game. You're like, check me out spray painting this thing. That was such a burnout game.
Yeah.
I loved that. And then, I loved weed, and now I hate it. It's so weird.
Really?
Do you smoke?
Very rarely. I want to. Like, I can't believe I used to smoke, and then when I started getting better at comedy, I stopped. It just wasn't making me funny anymore. It was actually hurting.
Your comedy's so not pothead comedy. Your comedy is like structured and like thought out.
Yeah.
And you don't see a lot of potheads with like the bump, like they don't write like that.
No, they don't.
Except maybe like Hedberg, but even he kind of like it didn't seem like it was that structured, but
it was exactly. Yeah. I know it was very structured.
But most people who are structured, like I couldn't picture being like I don't know, like Seinfeld being a pothead comic.
Right, yeah. It doesn't add up.
Or someone who has like structured thought.
Yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed it for a long time, but then it was no good. Like I wasn't funny on it anymore, and it was making me lazy. But now that it's available everywhere and it's legal, I want to be able to like go back and not have to sneak around, but it's just I'm not good on it.
But the sneaking around was the fun part. It was like it's almost like you get why people like affairs. You're like, man, all this sneaking around is pretty cool. And then they're like, do you want to just have sex? And you're like, no.
Right.
I liked it. It was wrong.
Yeah.
But that's you legalize pedophilia, maybe they're gonna stop. Maybe they're going to be like, I'm done.
Yeah.
No,
take the taboo off.
But no, I don't like the feeling of I'm in my head, I'm paranoid. I'm like, oh, I'm that classic, like, oh, I bet this guy doesn't like me. And with weed, I don't care.
When did you stop?
I mean, with alcohol, I don't care.
Right.
When did I stop? I mean, I can't remember the last time I did it. Usually it's by accident. You're just drunk and someone hands you one.
Right, yeah.
And you think it's a cigarette and it's not. Like, I'll do a cigarette drunk, but like,
yeah.
it's Been a few years. for
Yeah.
sure.
Were you a comedian still smoking?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I have.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
Like,
regularly, like,
No.
yeah.
I needed to be disciplined, and
That's
weed
the
is like
problem.
the enemy of
Yeah.
structure and discipline.
It also is a weird percent. Like, you have to read the room and be in control of the room and the vibe and what's happening in the moment. And I see so many guys when they do get high, they're in their own reality and it doesn't go well and they come off like, I killed. And I was
Exactly.
like,
Well,
no,
you see them
didn't.
and they're just kind of chilling. You're like, I wanted at least at that point in my career to like have a sense of urgency with the stand up to like be like bam, bam, like killing.
Yeah.
And those guys were always like, all right, like they'd like hanging like two. I'm like, that's the energy of like someone who should be like hosting a party, not like putting on a show.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't picture any like great entertainer who's and like look, I've seen people who got too drunk on stage too. I've been one of those people. I saw Post Malone do a show a couple weeks ago and he was clearly drunk, but it was a good show.
Right.
It's like some people.
Oh, you
just
saw
know-
him? I've never seen him live.
I just happened to be in Nashville doing this podcast called Bussin' with the Boys. And then they were like, do you want to see Post Malone with us later? And I was like, I got nothing to do.
Yeah.
DeRosa's there, Joe DeRosa, Shane
Nice.
Gillis, John McKeever, all those Philly guys.
Yeah.
I mean, classic Joe DeRosa. Like you're just trying to Shane. They're just such drinkers.
Yeah.
I was hungover from the flight in, you know, and then that day I'm like dying. I told them I'm like we're not drinking. I'm like we're not drinking. All of it. Let's make a pact, not drink. The second one of them goes away, Will Compton and I we're just holding Bud Lights, and he looks at us and we're like, it's cold. It's a cold beer. It's hard to say no. So then that turns. Problem is once you do one, that's when the guys like Shane, Joe, the classic alcoholics, see you and they're like vultures. They just start circling and they just put their claws in you and they're just like, that beer looks light, dude. And you're like, it's not a see-through beer. And they're like, yeah, but I bet it's light. And you're like, all right, I'll do one more. And they're like, all right. And then they're like monitored. They're making sure everyone else is getting as fucked up as them so they don't feel as bad about it. It's like a video game. You're just like trying to dodge them. You just have to Irish exit people.
Right. You just got to, for your own safety.
For your own safety. Because guess what? They never care.
Right.
They don't remember.
Right.
They're hurting too bad the next day. They're just like, oh, was he there? They don't know.
Yeah. I didn't realize DeRosa was that way too.
Oh, DeRosa's a booze bag.
Really?
Joe, like, I feel like he's the only person who looks forward to funerals so he can gather around people and be like, we should do a shot to remember. You can't turn down the funeral shot. Maybe we're just out. You turn down the shot.
For
but
Kenny.
Like, it's for Kenny.
For
Like,
Kenny.
We've done 6. Kenny's dead. He really does that. He loves that shit.
It's so funny.
One time I was trying to leave, and I was trying to leave the stand one night. I was trying to get out of there, and I don't work there much, so it's like I'm like fuck DeRosa. Let me just try to get away from him. He grabs me like, dude, it's good to see you. I'm like, good to see you too, dude. And then he grabs a round of shots before I can say no, and he goes, to you playing the Madison Square Garden Theater. And I was like, I don't want, and he's like, what, a toast for you you're going to turn down? I was like, all right. What does it turn into? Fucking 8-10 drinks later. I'm just like, fuck you, Joe. Fuck you. Hammered.
One more time for the garden.
One more for the two. You're going to turn down a toast for you? That's fuck. No, have a water while we all salute you.
It's dirty business. I still haven't been to a sandwich shop.
It's good sandwich.
That's what I hear.
I mean, a good sandwich.
Yeah.
It's all about you're the bread guy.
Yeah.
Dude,
I heard it's really good bread.
Amazing sandwich.
Yeah.
Joey Rose's.
Yeah. I should go during this trip.
Yeah, Joe is so fun.
So how was Post Malone?
It was a good show. It was awesome. I don't know.
listened to a
he's
lot of-
kind of become like country-ish. And,
Yeah, he's kind of all over.
It's cool. It's like,
I like it.
it's not a genre of music I really know.
Yeah.
But he brought out Blake Shelton. I've never seen him. He was awesome. He
Right.
did like 1 or 2 songs with them, and I was like, man, these are good.
Yeah.
Then he brought out a woman I didn't know who she was, but they did Jackson, Johnny Cash. I was like, this is awesome. He was like bringing out special guests. It was
God,
so fun.
he's such his own thing.
Yeah, he seems like a cool guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went to see AJR, the band at MSG. They're buddies of mine. And they have a lot of like hits right now. I've never seen more production in the show. It blew me the fuck.
Really?
I couldn't. I didn't understand how they were doing some of the shit they were doing. They were like
What do you mean?
floating.
Oh, really?
They'd be singing while he'd be like floating with like crazy graphics. It looked like he was like falling.
Jeez.
It was insane. Oh, everything they did was just insane.
And yeah, these shows are so.
And then I literally go out. I'm like, guess I'll do another hoodie tonight. You know?
I know.
So I try to. That's why I wore a suit in the last one. I'm like, all right, it's time to like. I like that you will rock a suit occasionally.
Yeah, occasionally.
You kind of step it up.
I do a little bit, but it's so funny. It doesn't matter how big you try and make it. Whenever I see shots on Instagram of someone on a stage, or like their buddy takes a picture from the side on stage, and it looks so small.
I know.
It looks just like, it just seems, I mean, maybe it's different when you're watching with the light on, the spotlight, and it feels a little bit more, but it seems so tinny and tiny. It's just a guy walks from the side, babbles, and walks off to the side again.
Totally. No, it's. I realized that when I did AGT. I was on America's Got Talent like 10 years ago. I remember just realizing like everyone's like, they're like getting their outfits, they're doing their stretches for their dance. I'm literally like, I can get drunk right now and it won't make a difference with how I do. You know? It's such a ruse.
Yeah. But everyone else looks at it like it's a magic trip because they can't.
Because we could
not
do
funny.
it. Because we look at it as like, it's just a mic. And they're like, well, all they need is a mic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what we realized during COVID. When
Right.
shows in the park. I'm like, it ain't good, but all we need is a mic.
Yeah, it's still just a thing. I mean, it feels bigger when you're walking out and you're getting ready to do it. But just something about, but it's almost like theater. It's like, you ever see theater, like clips of theater
never worked.
on New York One or something? Yeah, it doesn't work. But you know, live.
But that's why Broadway's so cool. Because if you see a good musical or something, it's all. But that's why, yeah, a lot of the movies don't really.
Yeah.
Even if they're done well, they kind of don't always work.
Right, exactly.
Because it like. The choreography.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like what they do and like the training that goes into that. A lot of it's like what you're blown away by that.
Right.
Not just the music.
And it's energy. There is an energy. You're not photographing the energy. You're not, like you go and you crush in a theater. It's like, or in a club, it's just like, there's an energy that everyone acknowledges, like feels. A picture isn't going to capture that.
I'm such a big movie guy. I love watching classics. I love like.
Do you like The Godfather?
Of course.
I feel like there's a new generation of guys that The Godfather's no longer important to.
Not only is a movie important, I love the fucking book.
Yeah.
The Gun Take the Cannoli. About the making
of it. Yeah.
I love that book. I love any like behind the sines like 60s or 70s showbiz type book because it was so seedy and the mob was involved and Mario Puzo was like got like a $400,000 advance on that book and somehow like blew it all in Vegas because he was
That's
just
right.
I'm like, you're just a fat dude in sweatpants gambling away the biggest advance of all time. Like somehow the making of that story was even crazier than the book, and then like all the characters. Like I think The Godfather's one of the coolest things.
It's very cool, but there is definitely a generation. I was talking to Andrew Schultz about it, and Stephen Rogers was saying it too, that it's like it doesn't resonate the same way.
He doesn't like it?
He was kind of like, he was saying
Really?
it's not as, it doesn't have that place like that.
Interesting.
Older guys.
Well, maybe
had.
Andrew feels that way about like Goodfellas or something. Maybe it's like,
maybe.
I feel like mob movies were like the new Western for a while. So I feel like there was Goodfellas growing up was definitely bigger for us than Godfather, just because my brother was in a Goodfellas.
Yeah.
And then, to me, Sopranos was like the
oh my
top
God.
of the mountain. It was
My
the
God.
best. But I do feel like mob movies for us was like what the Western was for like our grandparents.
Totally. That's a great way to put it, because there was something about masculinity. There was something
Marvel
about
shit,
honor.
honestly.
There was,
Which is a bummer because it's just like they're fun movies, but they're just not nearly as good.
Yeah. It doesn't have that thing like that you identify like yourself to the culture of it.
Yeah, you're not like, there's not like a John Ford or like Scorsese equivalent to like,
Yeah. It's too,
even if they're fun.
Yeah, but it's too much effects and stuff. It's not like you're dealing with these real human beings.
Yeah.
I think, did you watch the new one, like the latest Scorsese one with Pesci and De Niro when they're old guys?
The Irishman?
The Irishman.
Yeah, it was good.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't love the latest, the Flower Moon one.
I didn't see it.
No, but the Irishman was good.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Pesci's so good.
I know.
Just fucking getting old. That scene was just getting old, eating bread in prison. You're like, this is like the saddest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was so, third, like it was like 3 acts, and it was like the third act was like incredible. I thought where they're old.
Yeah.
Because the first act where De Niro is beating the shit out of the guy, I'm kind of like, I mean,
stomping on him.
This ain't. You couldn't get CGI for this. But then,
exactly. You can't balance.
and then some of the lines at the beginning, like I paint houses, which means I murder people. Like, yeah, we know what it means. Like, he's like explaining
Yeah.
That's what they say. I paint houses. We're like, now we get it. But I was watching like Scorsese shorts, and because I just like to get in the nitty gritty of these like old school filmmakers, and like they're so bad, dude.
Oh, really?
Love Scorsese, but they're like, maybe they were like, I think it got him stuff because he was like, but the one with his parents is kind of interesting because they're just
I like that one.
That was cool, but the one with like the shaving where he's just bleeding everywhere, the guy just keeps shaving and there's blood spilling everywhere. I was like, what is? Apparently, it was like a Vietnam protest, but I was like, I don't get it.
Yeah,
yes, I might be too dumb to get it, but but no, I love Scorsese, man. He's made like so many of the best things ever.
What'd you think of King of New York? Kings of New York, King of New York,
comedy.
No, not King of Comedy. The one with Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh, Gangs in New York.
Gangs in New York.
It was good.
It was weird because there were so many parts of it that like threw me out of it, that it looked like a set.
Yeah.
But then it would completely draw you back in just because of Daniel Day-Lewis. I think.
He was scary as fuck.
Exactly. He's
butcher. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a cool one. I like any like New York history type thing too. It's just really fun.
Yeah. When you were growing up, was your mom a big cook?
A cook?
Yeah. Who was the cook in the house?
My mom is a good cook, but I wouldn't say that was like her thing. And that was, but she is a very good cook.
Yeah.
You realize your mom's a good cook when like I realized I never learned to cook. I just was around my mom and I can kind of cook. You know, I realized that during COVID because the girl I was dating was like, "You're like a pretty good cook," and I was just like, "Oh, I never make it." Because I was always out, so I would just grab a slice of pizza. You know, I was a wrap somewhere. Like I wasn't like really cooking for myself that much. Sometimes meal prep, but like during COVID, so I guess I realized, I guess I can cook.
Right, I know how to do this.
She must be decent, but
what can you cook? What do you cook?
I make during COVID, I was making bulk stuff like like chili.
Right.
But like good chili, a lot of veggies.
Nice.
You know, some turkey meat in there or beef, whatever. And
nice.
Then, all kinds of pastas, chicken, and whatever.
You got skills.
Yeah, I'll do simple stuff. I'm not particularly good, but I think she was such a bad cook that she was like, "You're fucking good."
Oh, really?
But I never like learned. I never like. Yeah. Now you don't really have to. You can just throw a YouTube video on. Like
I know, and it's amazing.
It's kind of funny that. Like people still buy cookbooks, but I'm like, you can just Google anything.
100%.
I'm not trying to destroy the cookbook business here.
Just social media. Like you could see some like really quick things on Instagram or something. You're like, this is actually good.
Some of them are awesome.
Yeah.
Some of them are just like, I don't know why my algorithm is so heavy of just dudes eating sandwiches in their car. I hate it. It makes me so annoyed. But that's one. You get a lot of like, other people cooking are really fun. I love the ones of like old Italian grandma.
Yeah, the nanas.
Those are my fave.
Those are the best.
Because that recipe, like, that's what I love about good food is like, this shit was like your mother's. So this is so old.
Yeah, I love that too. They're just like their hands are all like claws and they're still like
heavy breasts,
rolling.
Just rolling. Yeah, no,
still just banging out the dough.
I'm not a great. My mom is not my mom's very artsy. I mean, she's an artist, so she was very into like. She's probably why I love movies so much is because she was always showing me like good shit when I was a kid. Like,
oh really?
Oh my god, the first movie I watched was probably The Red Balloon, the French film, the short film. I'm like, this is what I'm watching as like a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
So, but then she'd show me, stuff I would, gravitate towards myself. But the first comedies I'm watching are like Laurel and Hardy, March of the Wooden Soldier.
Right.
Other kids are watching Ninja Turtles, and I'm like, we're just gonna watch Laurel and Hardy.
Is the best.
But she really got me into comedy without.
Wow.
My first Broadway show I ever saw was Tommy. I mean, that was The Who.
Right.
So she was giving me the stuff. She'd be like, I think he'll like this or he'll at least appreciate it when he's older.
Oh.
So yeah, dude, we were like,
that's great. So it's like premeditated.
It's pretty crazy. And then Yeah, I'm thinking all the stuff she showed me as a kid, and then the stuff you watch. You go through phases where you like rebel, so you just watch bad shit.
Yeah.
Why do you watch that?
Right.
But then, you end up coming back to like your roots, and I love dude, when I was doing all this press for this special, maybe the coolest thing I did was going inside the Criterion closet and getting to like pick out their DVD.
Oh, you did? You got to do that?
Yeah, I was like, this is crazy. I grabbed a bunch of. I mean, just
That's
looking
so
at it,
cool.
These are I still like just the feel of like the DVD box.
I know. It's the best. What was your favorite movie that you picked?
I picked 5. I picked a few I hadn't seen and a couple I had. I got
Were you nervous to go in there and like have street cred? Like were you like you want them to respect you?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They were like kind of they gave me the Scorsese shorts thing, which I'd never seen. I was just curious. And what else did I get? Sweet Smell of Success, which I've seen before. I just was like, that's kind of a cool one.
Yeah.
And then Thief, which I've seen before. But
Nice.
It's just a badass movie.
Yeah.
Also, nice to see a Jew fucking shit up, a Jewish jewel thief.
Yeah.
Just messing dudes up and shooting them. And then what else? Clute, I'd never seen that, so I grabbed that. That was really good. Jane Fonda and Donald Sutherland, really cool.
I never saw that.
Like that paranoia age of film where every movie is like,
Yeah.
it's like The Conversation where it's like everyone,
Right.
someone's listening. Like
Body
that age.
Snatchers.
Yeah.
The Conversation's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
Oh,
That's like
man.
the best one of those. But then, and then there was one other, I don't know. Might have been like All That Jazz or something. I got something else, which I just watched and I loved. That
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, it's so good. Do you want to act more?
No, I only in stuff I make. I don't want to go on auditions. and
Yeah.
stuff. I'm not like if someone offered me a part and it was like awesome, but
Yeah.
I don't want to be in I don't want to take time off stand up just to be in a thing that I don't care about.
Yeah.
But if it's like,
Yeah.
but I'm writing a thing with Mike Lawrence and
Oh, yeah?
and Mike is fucking awesome to work with.
I gave him his first writing job.
He told me
He did?
He loves you.
I love him so much.
He's a beast. He's
so-
incredibly autistic. So when I bomb a joke for him, it's like you feel it in your bones. You're like, wow, that was a pretty heavy bomb.
He's so good.
We struck out on so many pitch meetings with it. It's crazy. We had Sandler's company behind us. I thought we'd sell it somewhere, but then we
Yeah.
went down to Peacock. You're like, let's just make it ourselves. But oh my God, he made the same joke in every pitch where he's like, we got some great notes from our Uber driver. He used to be an exec. So everyone, they were like, ha ha ha. And then like since then, 2 of the execs we pitched to have been fired. So
Oh, really?
a lot of truth to that joke.
Yeah, look close to the bone.
But we're writing it. I think it's great.
Yeah.
That'll be cool. And then I'm working on a thing with Norman that I love.
Oh, cool.
That we wrote and
It's the best way to do it, especially now.
we'll either make it or we don't. But I don't want.
Yeah.
I don't want to take time off doing what I love, stand up to make stuff that I don't love.
Yeah.
I've got to love it.
Yeah, that's great.
This is too fun a life, and it's
I know.
not just fun, but like even the nights where I just pop into the cellar, like. If I see you, you're in town. If I see, any of my friends at the club, I'm like happy.
I know. It's such a lucky thing. I literally was thinking of that last night. I was with Dave Hill. We were having dinner, and I was like, it's so nice to know that you have the option in this giant city to just walk in to the Comedy Cellar. It's like it's like a treehouse that we get to go and just visit. You don't have to stay, or you can stay all night, but you have that place in this big, giant, fierce beast of a city that you can actually have like a little playground for yourself.
Absolutely, man.
What a blessing.
It's cool as hell, and the problem is I don't want to take nights off. I'll run into people who are like, you got to take night. And I'm going to force myself just to do. Every once in a while, I'll go to a thing and I'm like, man, I'm glad I did that. That like gave me an idea or it gave me like, it's good to like just mix it up. I feel like it's bad for your brain if you're just like, what? I feel like I'm going to be on my deathbed and it's just going to be a bunch of memories at the Olive Tree or at the Comedy Cellar downstairs. I'm just going to be, it's just here.
Yeah. I know there is a part of that. You got to get off the wheel a little bit.
Yeah.
But every time you take off, like I'm going to have some time off in August and it's like,
the whole time you're on vacation or whatever, you're going to be thinking like, fuck, it's going to hurt to come back.
I know.
Because those first few sets are bumpy.
I know, really bumpy. I know, but there is something probably good to reset. Are you ready for our taste test?
Yeah, what are we doing?
We do a lot of if we were in LA, I would give you bread.
Oh, nice.
Which I gave you bread last time.
Yeah.
That I bake myself, but I'm on the road, so I can't do it.
Yeah.
And
I think it's awesome when you post those. I like when you'll play like just like Perry Como or something. You'd just be like, just mushing together. Did you see that Perry Como thing, by the way? And,
no.
Forgot which steakhouse it was. Maybe Gallagher's one of them. They had to like put next to his picture in the steakhouse, this man is not Jeffrey Epstein.
No.
Someone's complaining, I guess. Someone's like, why is Jeffrey Epstein? Like, clearly we're not celebrating Jeffrey Epstein, but I guess they had to, like,
why don't they just update the photo or something?
I don't think he looks that much like him
No,
either.
but maybe when he was young.
No, he's gray. I think that's
really?
why.
Oh.
But like, yeah.
Hilarious.
So weird.
Well, we're into like the finer things in life and eating good stuff, but I also like, blue Gatorade and other stuff. And when I see something odd, this is the 14-year-old in us. Okay. So I saw this. This is back when we were getting high as 14-year-olds.
Okay.
This is a blazing buffalo and ranch Dorito.
Actually sounds pretty good.
I know.
So it's like a chicken wing kind of type.
I'm excited about it.
Are you a ranch or blue cheese chicken wing guy?
Blue cheese.
Me too.
Yeah. I don't mess with ranch. Oh.
It's not bad. There's
At first
stages.
I wasn't getting it. Yeah. I think it's going to take...
I don't think it would be my go-to, but it's pretty good actually.
It doesn't really taste like buffalo.
I'm honestly not a huge Dorito guy.
Yeah.
I don't dislike them. I know that they're like classics, but I think if like you were like, what are your chips? Kettle cooked, like, like salt and vinegar.
Me too.
Or like sour cream and onion or something. Oh, she just woke up.
Look who woke up. Winnie knows we're eating. Look at the tongue. Look at the tongue. Yeah, I'm not gonna give this too high a rating.
It's whatever. It's fine.
It's whatever.
They're getting carried away with this shit. But then every once in a while,
really true.
Every once in a while, one of the weird ones, I'll roll the dice. Like if you're drunk and you're like pickle, and you're like, that was good.
I had a pizza Pringle. Tastes like a pretty good slice.
Not bad.
In a Pringle.
I would never try it, but it does sound. You know what the other one is not bad either? Is the pepperoncini kettle cooked was surprising.
Oh, really? Oh, that sounds good.
But it's hard because you're already getting something unhealthy. So you're like, I kind of want it to be something I know is going to be scratching that itch.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
It's like when you get bad fries and you're just like, why am I doing this to myself?
I know, exactly.
Just like gonna feel like shit for like a bad fry.
I know.
But I love, like if you get like even original, man. Mm-hmm. Even I'm fine with just. Sometimes like
a classic what?
You know what the best potato chip ever is though?
Okay, hit me.
Ruffles, all dressed, the Canadians.
Oh yeah?
I'm giving it to Canada, dude.
For real?
I think it's got like everything on it. They're unreal. It's like a fucking punch in the face, but a good one. It's like
wow.
That one, I actually think their ketchup chips are pretty fucking good.
I know, I've had those. I've never had all dressed though.
All dressed is even better.
Really?
Ruffles are slept on.
Yeah, I know, it's true. I went back, we had little Ruffles that my wife had for her class, and she just brought them home, and I was like, got a little mini bag. I was like, oh yeah, I remember this.
They're good, right?
It was like seeing an old girlfriend or something.
She's still got it too.
She's still got it. Well, this
gotta try all dressed.
I'm gonna give that maybe a 4 out of 10.
Oh man, that's maybe like a 3.5. It's
yeah,
like good.
It's
not awful, but it's just like whatever.
It was pretty disappointing.
They're just getting Oreos too. You see the shit they're doing. You're like, just fucking work.
How about the Cheez-It people?
Yeah, they're getting pretty cocky. They have like they're not even just doing flavor stuff. They're messing with like the structure. It's like blown out, and you're like, fat Cheez-Its. Like enough.
I had the Cheez-It Taco Bell. They matched those two together.
That looked actually kind of good though.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't good.
No.
Yeah, I guess not. I guess it's got to be like a more like tortilla chip type thing than a.
Yeah, it was like exciting just to you're like, oh, you two got together. It's like two of your old friends finally hook up.
That's so true. Do you ever go to like Omaha? You ever do like I've done the Funny Bone there a million times. They'll like sample the new thing.
Yeah,
because I think their thought process is like, well, it's the most American city. Like it's a great example.
Like Peoria.
Well, yeah,
yeah, Columbus.
So exactly. So it'll do if it does well there. They're like it'll make it to them. It's like their tryout,
right?
And I was like, man, that's why it's so good to work out jokes at that fucking club. It's
right. Like, yeah, that's really smart.
Yeah,
that's really smart. Man, I saw last night on Discovery. They showed a storm show, like they do the storm chasey kind of shows. But because people have so much technology now on their phones and there's cameras everywhere,
Yeah.
I saw stuff I never saw before of tornadoes. They were just showing like Cedar Rapids, and they were just showing like this storm coming through, and everybody in the town who had gotten it on their phones, watching like roofs fly off.
Oof.
It was intense.
I was watching a thing once on the just local news. There was some horrible storm, and some guy, two people lost their homes. And they just interviewed him back to back, and one guy was like, "We lost everything. We lost." He was just like losing it, and then they got another guy. He's like, "Yeah, you know, we lost our home, but that's Mother Nature." You know, I'm like, "That's the news. Just two different people dealing with. Just one guy's cool, and the other guy's like having a meltdown." By the way, I'd be the first guy for sure.
That was the kind of cool thing about this show, is that you were seeing real people's response when they're hiding under a bridge or they're in the bottom of this warehouse. The way they're trying to figure it out and how they're coping with it. Some people, one Mexican woman was just screaming Hail Marys, the full prayer, just repeating.
Pretty on brand.
And then at the end said, "She did it. She saved me."
She saved.
There were a couple that were just like, "We're dying. We're totally dying. We're dying. We're dying."
That's how I would be. You got to get. By the way, you got to get that person out of the group. That guy ain't helping you.
The we're dying.
The we're dying guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy's not going to be good
That's
in a
most
crisis.
comedians. We're like going to be negative, I think.
Yeah, and not that excited about it, like not overly worried about it.
Yeah.
Like, we had a time on a plane once where it seemed like it was getting sketchy for a minute.
What were you on? Was it like a bunch of comics or no?
No, it was just I was with my family, and like an engine went out on a JetBlue flight, and it got rocky,
Oof.
and people were like screaming, and my wife turned to me, and I was just like, "Yeah, this is about how I figures."
Fuck.
And she said,
That's like
she really carries
calm.
that's how I react in a crisis. Like, yeah, I saw it coming.
we that's fucking hilarious,
Isn't it?
we Gary and I remember we did Rochester, New York, Vita, who I tour with, and I saw Norden the night before. Jim Norden goes, "You flying or driving?" I said, "Oh, I gotta fly." And he's like, "I hate those planes," and I was like, "Yeah, they are small." That next day, we get in the flight, tiny ass plane, and Gary and I booked together, but some woman was just like, "No, I'm sitting." Like, I booked here, and we're like, "No, it's right." We showed her right here, and she's like, "This is where I am," and we're like, I just looked at him. I'm like, "It's a 40-minute flight. Who cares?" Whatever.
Yeah.
So they're behind me. I'm sitting in front, and it's just like the worst turbulence I've ever encountered. Like little plane, like shaking so bad to
Right.
the point that like I like looked back to Gary, and we're like this,
Oh,
and then
geez.
the woman who wouldn't give me the seat is just going, "Ah!" And that was like the only satisfaction we got. That we're like, well, at least she's suffering right now. We hate her, and
She caused the turbulence.
dude, it was so bad, and they just Top Gunned it. He just went like boom, just right back up.
Whoa.
Because he couldn't land. It was too windy.
Whoa.
And he didn't say anything. I was like, are we about to get like German wings? Is he gonna like kill us right now? We're like panicking. But then like 10 minutes later, once he got another angle, he was like, sorry about that. It was too windy to land. I had to I had to go for it. I was like, go for it. That's
I had to go for it.
but but the guy who picked us up was like, dude, I saw a plane Top Gun it. I was like, that was us.
Holy
Like,
shit.
That was crazy. I was like, yeah, that's
Oh, that's insane.
the flight stuff is like,
yeah.
I know people who have to drug themselves to fly. I've never been that way.
No.
Thank God. But,
No.
like, it is. You see some of those videos, like the people like falling up into the overhead. I'm like,
I know.
I don't know how that happened.
I know. And I used to, when I was younger, starting to travel, I was like, what are these people drinking like Bloody Marys at 6 a.m.? It's fear.
It's fear.
They're like, this sucks. I'm gonna get hammered
that suck?
and get on this plane and get to Dayton. I totally get
Oh,
it.
Dayton fucked up at 9 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. Then deal with your stuff, but you're alive.
You're alive. Dude, I mean, look, there's something so rewarding about an air cocktail.
Yeah.
And
I know.
especially like a Bloody Mary. There's something about like
I
the
know.
thickness of that juice when you're airborne. It just hits you so. I mean,
It's so perfect.
I do feel like I don't really drink
Yeah.
when I am going to a gig. 'Cause
Yeah.
why would I? I'm not going to day drink on my way to a gig.
Yeah.
But like on the rare time I'm going somewhere, like maybe I get there the night early or something, it is kind of fun to like go down.
great.
Especially, I love those little pre-made RTD, like old fashions.
Yeah.
You just ask for a cube, you just dump it over. You're like, man, this is kind of an air cocktail. This
You
is
really
fucking crazy.
you get happy immediately. You're like, oh, this is what it's for.
You throw in a movie, you get emotional. I was going to Australia.
Yeah.
And I'd never seen the movie Prisoners, and I threw it on. I was like, first of all, this is the most depressing movie of all time. But I was also wine drunk and had a muscle relaxer in me, so I was like, so fucked up. I'm getting like so upset. But,
It's the best.
It's a good flick.
Such
too,
a
but-
dream.
Yeah, but oh my god, that's the only good thing about the Australia flight is like
Yeah.
you're just like, well, none of this is real. I can just misbehave and get fucking lit, and then you just pass out. It's great.
I know, and all the warnings are like the worst thing you can do on a flight is drink. Like, don't drink
Really?
alcohol. Yeah,
Why?
it's the worst thing you can do because it dehydrates you and it'll mess up your ability to recover in the new time zone and all that kind of stuff. But the struggle pales in comparison to the joy that it brings you on a long flight when you have no show that night.
It's so true, and also just like I just need something to look forward to.
Yeah.
It's almost like just knowing the hotel you're gonna like it.
Yeah.
You're traveling, you're away from. I need something to be like.
I know.
I did the bad hotels forever. I don't want to go back.
I know,
I want
it's
to. I
true.
want to be pumped to go to work.
Yeah.
And I'm not even like bougie in that way. I just want a good.
I just don't want to hear the guy farting next to me through the wall. How about that?
I remember I was on a flight with Phil Hanley once, and we weren't sitting together, and I was kind of like bummed that we were like, I was like, oh, we kind of want to catch up.
Yeah.
And we were across, and the guy next to me smelled so fucking bad. So I was like, let me try this. So I walked over to the guy, and I was like, hey, do you mind switching seats with me? It's just my really good friend. The guy's like, yeah, sure. And as he walks over, he sits next to the smelly guy, and he just looks back at me. There's nothing he can say. You can't be like, this guy smells. He had to just take the L, and I was just like, wow, I'm an asshole.
That is a perfect con.
I felt like I love those old like con movies with like David Letterman, like you ever see like Spanish Prisoner or something, or like House of Games. Those are like so fun.
Yeah, it's just like, you got me, but I respect it.
He kind of had to. I do love. That is the best part of flying with.
Yeah.
He also boarded early because he had like he was like
Yeah.
I have a bad neck. I'm like, this is like elderly people. You don't get to do that shit.
You just smell like shit.
No, I'm saying Phil has like a bad neck or something.
Oh, Phil does.
Yeah.
Oh, it's funny. Well, thank you for doing this. This
Yeah,
was
it's
really
always a
great.
blast,
Your
yeah.
special's so great. I
Thanks,
just
man.
wanted to make sure that people got the word out. It is it's You've Changed on Prime. It's just what you do
Thanks,
best.
man. You
It's
too,
just
man.
Packed with jokes and really great. And thanks for bringing Winnie.
I told you she's fun. She doesn't do anything. She just lays there.
Yeah, this is so perfect. I can't wait till my dog gets a little more geriatric. He'll just chill out like that. Like, he'll hang, but he'll also have bursts of energy.
Yeah, she doesn't do much. I kind of love it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's the best. Well, thanks, man.
All right, thanks.
I'll
dude.
see you soon.
See you soon.